My Lords, I remind the House of my various interests in the Countryside Alliance, including chairing the organisation. I apologise for being unable to take part in this debate or this report stage earlier. I was isolating and was only just released less than 2 hours ago. But I was watching the proceedings very carefully, and it seemed to me that there was an emerging pattern. And the pattern was of a serial rejection of all of the amendments proposed by my noble friends and others, whether on the issues of retrospectivity, whether on the composition of the committee, whether on the matter of the risk that this committee is going to present of more judicial review. I had to only admire my noble friend's elan in batting away each of these suggestions. Suggestions from former ministers, suggestions from a former leader of the House, suggestions from a former leader of the party, suggestions from a brace, or at least, of Queen's Counsel, suggestions and advice from a former Master of the Rolls, all swatted away elegantly by my noble friend. I simply wish to say that my noble friends are sentient beings too, and I believe that we are being treated cruelly, and that there is a case for reference to an independent committee to make advice as to whether all of these suggestions should have been taken more seriously. Perhaps if ministers will dismiss the advice of the Animal Sentience Committee with the same alacrity, we would have little to fear from its future proceedings. But the truth is that there is less of a risk to specific aspects of farming or other activities that we can identify now than, in my judgment, there is of gluing up government with a constant process of analysis and then rejection, followed by review of proposals that are made by this committee. Indeed, there is not to be just one committee, there are to be two. And these committees, we heard earlier, are going to refer matters to each other in a description that reminded me very much of a passage from Yes, Minister. The ministers, too, sometimes when they occupy two briefs, as I once did, are encouraged to write letters to each other or letters to themselves in the case of dual positions. Well, now we have two animal committees that are going to be encouraged to refer matters to each other. This is an overcorrection because of a promise that was made earlier, and therefore it seems to me that the suggestion of my noble friend Lord Moylan, that at the very least we should ensure that the advice that this committee makes is grounded in the soundest possible science and is peer-reviewed, seems to me to be eminently sensible. And I wondered, therefore, if I could join with Lord Moylan in making his modest suggestion that this might be the exception and might be one proposal that the Minister would entertain.